Greetings, hello and welcome to a short little tutorial on LW2 or LW of the Chosen rocket launcher mechanics. Because I think there's still a lot of confusion about what these numbers on the screen mean, where they're coming from, and how you can modify them in the best way to your own advantage. So let's start with the obvious. You see in the center of the targeting for a rocket these little plus minus 1.28 tiles. First big misconception is that people often think that, yeah, at most it will go 1.28 tiles from the center of your targeting circle. That's not true. That's basically the average scatter, like using your hit chance of this rocket and, you know, XCOM die rolls. On average, you should be 1.28 tiles away from the center. If you look at the very bottom of the screen, at the targeting circle where it lists the damage, you will find a different number saying max scatter 4 tiles. So, where's that coming from? And how do these numbers, how do they get created? So basically, what happens? My soldier here, Caroline, has a 77 aim score. So when a rocket is fired, the game basically rolls, based on that aim score, a to-hit roll. And it repeats that 4 times in this case. If you hit, the rocket stays on target. If the roll misses, you scatter by 1 tile. So because we have 4 such hit rolls, the max scatter here is 4 tiles. Now, the math genius amongst you will have already said, yeah, but 4 rolls with 77, that would not be an average of 1.28. You're absolutely correct. There's another modifier, and that is range of your rocket. So basically, at 9 tiles, which I think is about here, you get no modifier. So you get the expected 0.92, which hopefully is not more than 1 tile unless RNG screws you a little bit. So the closer I get, it doesn't get any better, but the further I get away from the 9 tile optimal rocket range, it gets worse and worse and worse. And here at max range, I'm even at on average of 2 tiles scatter. So that's one factor that's coming into play. But there are other factors, and we're going to look at these in a second. So as you see, I have 4 technicals here lined up for this little targeting practice. So Caroline here is a technical that it does not have any perks that affect rockets whatsoever. So this is basically when you have a squaddy rocket here, you always have these max scatter of 4 tiles and looking at similar numbers depending on your aim. If we take here, Mooney has the fire in the hole perk, which in the perk description says your rockets are more accurate, which is, you know, not very in-depth. So if we look at her aim, like I'm aiming at the same target there, it's much better, 0.6. And if you look at the description in the center, in the bottom center of the screen, max scatter is 2 tiles. What fire in the hole does is it reduces the number of die rolls that are required to hit your target by 2. So instead of 4 rolls, you only roll 2 times, so less chance of missing your rocket roll and thereby less chance of scattering your rocket. Now, next one in the line. Let's skip one. Over here we have Natalie, who does not have any rocket perks. And if I select her rocket, you see a horrendous 3.9 tiles. That is, if you look up here or at the little chevrons, you see she only has 1 action remaining. She moved to this tile. You will also see in the bottom center, max scatter 6 tiles. If you move your character, you actually, and then fire a rocket after a blue move, the accuracy is greatly reduced, because you now have to do 2 additional rolls. So 6 rolls here, a much worse chance to actually succeed on that. Like again, for each failed roll, it will scatter 1 tile off. So yeah, that can go completely outside of the highlighted radius. Similar here, you see Joe also only has a single chevron remaining, so he moved to this position, but he has fire in the hole. So from what we just learned, he only has the 4 rolls, but his scatter is also saying 2.32. If we compare it to Caroline from the start, no, that's the wrong skill. Also 4 rolls, 1.28, that's a much better scatter. So there's something else happening. If you move and then fire rocket, not only do you have to do 2 additional to-hit rolls, you also get an aim penalty on these rolls. I think it's -30 to your base aim score. So even he's sitting here with 81 aim, it's very unreliable, even with fire in the hole. So, big takeaway from all of this: fire a rocket after you move, bad idea. You can, if you have it, give a moved character an extra action back with a command, with a teamwork, with a skirmishes, combat presence, or any other tools you have. That then updates it again, so then the rockets will be accurate again. Fire in the hole helps a bit, but I probably still wouldn't fire a rocket after moving. And the further you go, even with like javelin rockets then, that have really long range, it gets really inaccurate. So while mobility isn't necessarily the main stat you look at for a rocket technical, it certainly helps to be in a position where you can fire a rocket in that sweet, accurate 9-tile range. So yeah, I hope that clears up any confusion about rocket targeting and how these numbers come together. If you have any questions, let me know in the comments below. And if not, thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.